Hello everyone, and welcome to another exciting video into the world of Python, finance, and algorithmic trading. In today's video, we'll explore a powerful trading strategy that uses Bollinger Bands and Relative Strength Index to identify buy and sell opportunities in the stock market. Now, whether you're new to Python or looking to expand your financial coding skills, I'll walk you through every step of the process. Together, we'll visualize stock price trends, detect potential reversals, and automate trading signals with just a few lines of code. Also, this content is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. So please use this knowledge responsibly. Now, by the end of this video, you'll have a working Python program that can analyze historical stock data and provide insights into key trading decisions. It's the perfect blend of data science, finance, and coding. So if you're enjoying content like this, be sure to like, subscribe, and click that bell icon so you don't miss out on future videos. And if you'd like to access the code or data sets used in this video, then you can do that through Patreon at patreon.com/computer science, where again you can get the code or the data set, and that link will be in the description below. So let's dive into the power of Python-driven trading. Now, I'm currently on Google's website called colab.research.google.com because it makes it easy to program in Python. So if you're going to program along with me, go to this website and then log in with your Google account and then click on File and click on New Notebook in Drive, which will open up a new tab for you, and eventually it will open up a new cell for you. Now, in this cell, I want to import the libraries that I need for this program. So I'm going to import pandas as PD, and I'm going to import numpy as np, and then I'm going to import matplotlib.pyplot as plt, and I'm going to run this cell by clicking this button here to the left, and this will let me know if I made any mistakes. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and click this code button in the top left, which will create a new cell for me. And we can see we get a little check mark here, so everything went well in the previous cell. Now in this cell, I'm going to create a function to calculate the Bollinger Band, the Bollinger Bands. All right. So Bollinger Bands are are indicators that people use for trading signals, and we're going to use Bollinger Bands and RSI for our strategy here. So here we're going to create a function called calculate underscore Bollinger Bands. I'm just going to just tab over because Google gave us all these suggestions. And instead of df here, I'm going to put data. And instead of window, I'm going to put window underscore size in our parameter. And I'm going to set it equal to 30. And then we're not going to use this third parameter, which is standard deviation equals 2. Okay. All right. Next, I'm going to create the rolling mean. So rolling underscore mean, I'm going to set it equal to data close dot rolling. We're going to set window equal to window size dot mean. So right in here, we're just calculating the rolling mean of the closing price. And I like what Google suggested here for us. So I'm going to go ahead and just press enter. Maybe Google will suggest some more options for us. And there we go. We have it. So Google suggested rolling underscore STD, which is for rolling standard deviation, and it's setting it equal to the data close dot rolling window equal to window size dot STD left parentheses right parentheses. So it's just calculating the rolling standard deviation, and then it's creating the upper band using the formula rolling mean plus 2 times the rolling standard deviation, and it's calculating the lower band using the equation rolling mean minus 2 times the rolling standard deviation. All right, so right there is creating the upper and lower bands. I'm just going to tab over because I like what Google suggested here. And instead of having upper band here, we're going to add that upper band to our data set. So I'm just going to type here data, and I'm going to create the column called upper band, and I'm going to set it equal to that equation. And then you probably guessed it already. We're going to do the same thing for the lower band. So lower band, we're just going to create a lower band column and set it equal to that equation there as well. And then we're just going to return data. All right, and so let me go ahead and run this function. Let's create a new cell. And now in this cell, I want to create a function to calculate the relative strength index, or RSI for short. Okay, and RSI is another indicator that traders use to determine a good time to buy and sell an asset or a stock. All right. So I like what Google put here. We're going to call that function calculate underscore RSI. It's going to take in some data, and then the window size will be equal to 14. I'm going to make the window size equal to 13, and I think that's good. So next is set delta equal to data close dot diff. So I'm just going to just tab over here. Let's take a look what Google put. So again, it created a variable called delta, set it equal to data close dot diff. And so this is just calculating the difference between consecutive close prices, and that's exactly what we want. And then it set gain equal to delta dot where delta greater than 0, comma 0. So this right here is calculating the gains or isolating the positive differences. And more specifically, what it's doing is checking to see if the values in delta are greater than 0. If they are, we're just going to get them. And if they're not, then we're going to put 0. So if the value is 0 or lower, then it's going to replace that value with 0. And then it created a variable called loss, set it equal to negative delta dot where delta is less than 0, comma 0. And this right here isolates the negative differences or the losses, right? And so it's going to put the values that are less than 0 in this data set or in this variable loss. And if those values are not less than 0, then it's going to replace the values with the value 0. So if the value is greater than or equal to 0, then it's going to replace it with 0. Okay? So I hope I said all that correctly. Let's go ahead and continue. And all you have to really remember is that gains just isolate the positive differences and loss isolates the negative differences. Okay. So next, Google suggested that we have average gain and average loss. And we're setting average gain equal to gain dot rolling window equal to window size dot mean, and average loss equal to loss dot rolling with window size with window equal to window size dot mean. So we are just getting the average gains over the defined window, and we're getting the average losses over the defined window of time as well. Okay, and then it's setting RS equal to average gain divided by average loss. And here RS probably stands for relative strength, as that is the formula for relative strength. It is average gain divided by average loss. So everything looks good here. So we're going to go ahead and just tab over, and let's press enter again. And now Google suggested that we create a column called RSI in our data set and set it equal to the RSI formula, which is 100 minus 100 divided by 1 plus RS. And that looks good. And then it's returning data. So I'm going to just tab over here. So Google makes it really easy to program, as you can see. All right, next I'm going to go ahead and create two new columns. I'm going to call one overbought, and I'm going to call the other one oversold. Sold. Okay, and I'm going to set them equal to 70 and 30 respectively. All right, so that should do it. Let's go ahead and run this cell. Let's create a new cell. And I guess I should explain this here. So I want to know what my overbought value will be. So it is going to be 70. And then I want to know what my oversold value is. So that's going to be 30 for RSI. So these are going to be our RSI values. So 70 tells me that the stock is overbought, and a value of 30 tells me that it's oversold. Okay. All right. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to create a function to implement the trading strategy. And I'll put that here, create a function to implement the strategy. And I'll put trading strategy here. So let's call this function trading strategy, trading underscore strategy. And it's going to take in some data. All right. And what's the strategy? Well, we're going to use Bollinger Bands and RSI for our strategy together, right? We're going to use them both together. So we're going to buy when the closing price is below the lower band and the RSI value is less than 30 and there is no active position. So that means we haven't already bought, one time. And then we're going to sell when the closing price is above the upper band and the RSI value is greater than 70 and we do have a position. So our position is active. All right. And it's going to make more sense as we continue here. But basically, I want to buy when I don't have a position, and I want to sell once I do have a position. Okay. All right. So speaking of that, let's go ahead and create a variable called position. We're going to set it equal to 0 to indicate that we don't have a position, and a value of 1 will indicate that we do have a position. All right. Next, I'm going to create two variables, one called buy price and the other one called sell price. And I'm going to set them equal to empty list, just like Google had suggested there, but it went away. There it is. So I'm going to just tab over, and that looks good. Next, I'm going to loop through the data set. So for I in range, 0 to the length of our data set, I want to create a few if statements for the strategy. So if data close at position I, or dot I lock position I, if it is less than the lower band, data lower band at position I, and position is equal to 0, and the RSI value, I'll put that here, and the RSI value, RSI at that position, I lock position I, if that RSI value is less than data oversold, so that's our oversold value, dot I lock at position I, and position, then we're going to want to have a position. We're going to want to append that close price to our buy price list, and then we're going to want to append to our sell price list np.nan. So basically, there is no sell signal at this point, right? But we do have a buy signal. I'm going to take this position, Control X, and I'm going to move it down, just because it makes more sense to me. But it doesn't really change the code at all wherever you place it here. Okay. So again, this first if statement just checks, or it checks to buy when the closing price is below the lower band and the RSI is less than 30 and there is no active position. And that's all of this line of code here is doing. Okay, so let's press enter. Maybe Google understands what I want now, and it looks like it does. So next we're going to have an elif statement, or else if statement. So else if the close price is greater than the upper band at that same position, and the RSI value is greater than the overbought RSI value, and the position equals 1. So we have a position, then we want to buy. So all this looks good. I'm going to just tab over. Okay, and I'm going to press enter. And Google made some good suggestions here as well. So now we're going to append to our buy price np.nan, and to our sell price list, we're going to append the actual close price at that position I, and then we're going to set position equal to 0 to state that we no longer have a position. And then we're going to have an else statement that doesn't follow either of these two first statements, to just append np.nan to both the buy price and the sell price, because we're not actually going to be buying or selling. So let's just tab over. That looks good. Press enter. Okay, now I'm going to create two columns. One will be called buy, and the other one will be called sell. And we're going to store the buy price and the sell price list into those two columns. And then we're going to return data. So I'm just going to tab over. All right, and let's run the cell. Let's create a new cell now. And in this cell, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to load the data and apply the strategy. Okay, so I'm going to create, oh, I like what Google suggested there. Let's just go back. I'm just going to tab over, and right here, Google put data equal to pd.read underscore CSV. This is not the CSV file that we want to read in. So let's go ahead and go over here to the left where it has files. Click on upload, and we're going to upload this msft underscore data dataset, or msft underscore data.csv dataset. So let's click open. I get a little warning. It's okay. Click OK. Okay, and now we have our dataset loaded. Let's make sure that we put that name here. So that's msft underscore data.csv. Let's exit out of here. And then I want to print the data set so we can kind of look at it. And I'm going to comment the rest of this out for now. because we're going to get back to what those lines of code are doing. Let's go ahead and run this. Take a look at the data. We can see we have date, open, high, low, close, adjusted close, and volume. These are our columns. So the open, high, low, and close and adjusted close columns are all price columns. And we have, of course, those 7 columns I just named and 2,765 rows of data from basically 2014 to 2025. So about 11 years worth of data, which is pretty good. I'm going to do some conversions here. So Google did exactly what I wanted to do. So we're going to convert the date to be date time or in the datetime format, and then we're going to set the index to be the date. All right. So I like what Google put there. Tab over. Let's run this again. Let's take a look at the data set. Now we can see that the indices are the date in date, the date format, the datetime format. Okay. So next, let's uncomment these other lines of code that Google suggested. So here's setting data equal to calculate Bollinger Bands. So we're just adding the Bollinger Bands to our data set here. And then Google setting data equal to calculate underscore RSI data, which is just adding the adding the RSI indicators to our data set. All right, so the first one adding Bollinger Bands. The second one here is adding RSI indicators. And then this third one here, this third line is just implementing the trading strategy that we want. So let's run this cell. Let's create a new cell. And now in this cell, we are going to create the main plot. Okay, so here I'm just going to type plt.style, and I'm going to use plt.style.use. I'm going to use the 538 style. I'm just going to tab over. I like what Google kind of suggested here. And next, I'm going to put plt.figure and give it a figure size. Instead of 12.2, I'm going to put 16. And instead of 4.5, I'm going to put 8. So 16 by 8. And then we're going to plot. I like that. I'm just going to press enter for now. We'll get back to actually plotting the data. Let's go ahead and put a title here. So I'm going to type plt.title. And I'm going to call it Bollinger Bands plus RSI trading strategy. So I like that. I just tabbed over. I'm going to get rid of this for now, but we will be using that. Okay. So next, let's go ahead and create the main plot elements. So here it has plt.plot data close and label equal to close price, alpha equal to 0.35. We're going to do we'll do 0.2 for now. Okay, and now Google's making more suggestions. Let's just tab over. Let's see what it has here. So it put plt.plot. So it's plotting the upper bands and it's putting it in color orange and plotting the lower band and putting it also in the color orange. Let's do orange and purple just to easily distinguish them. All right, let's press enter. Let's see if Google can give us some more code, and it did. So I'm just going to tab over. It typed plt.scatter. So it's going to put the buy and sell signals on our plot. So for the buy signal, we're going to have the buy label. The marker is going to be up. The data index will be on the x-axis, and of course, data buy will be on the y-axis, and then the color will be green. Okay, and then similarly for the sell, we're going to have on the x-axis the data index, which of course are the dates, and then on the y-axis, we're going to have data sell, which has the price, and of course the label will be sell, and then the marker will be a downward character, which is also just the V character here, and the color will be red, and that looks good. So these other 3 will be line plots, and these 2 will be scatter plots. So that looks good. Let's press enter here. Maybe Google knows what I want to do, and it did not put it. So I want to fill in between the upper band and lower band. I want to put in a shade area. So I want that plt dot fill. Okay, I like that there. I'm just going to tab over. So Google knew that I wanted to fill between the upper band and the lower band. Okay, and then we're going to give it a gray color, and the alpha will be equal to 0.2. So that looks good there. And let's see anything else I'm missing here. I don't think so. So let's press enter, and let's get some of the labels for the axes. Okay, so I'm going to type plt.x label will be the date. I'm going to type plt.y label will be the price. And then we're going to give it a plt.legend. So I'm just going to tab over and then type plt.show. So this looks really, really good. And we'll go ahead and put in, well, I think that's good. So for price, I just put in USD here. And for legend, location will equal best, which is fine with me. I will also put in face color. I'm going to set it equal to white. And then I'm going to put in edge color. I'm going to set it equal to black. Okay. Set it equal to black. And I think that's good enough. plt.show looks good. Let's go ahead and run this cell. All right. So there we go. That looks pretty good. I don't see the buy and sell signals because of these orange and purple bands. So let's go back up here to orange and purple. Let's make sure we add alpha. So I'm just going to come up here, highlight this, copy using Control C, and paste it here using Control V, and here using Control V. And let's run this again. And now we can see those buy and sell signals in green and red. So here you can see for this Microsoft data set, right? I'm not sure if I told you this is the Microsoft data set, but this is Microsoft data set from 2014 to about 2025. So here it tells us to buy, tells us to sell here, buy here, sell here, buy here, sell here, buy here, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. So this strategy seems to be pretty decent for this Microsoft data set. Maybe not optimal, right? Because it didn't tell us to sell at the tips at the very, very top. So it's not perfect. And that's okay. Not every strategy will be perfect, right? Okay, so I think that looks good. The last thing that I want to do is I want to output the last signal for clarity. Okay, so I'm going to import math here, and then I'm going to loop through the data. So for I in range, the length of our data set -1, comma, -1, -1. So from the length of our data set -1 to basically 0, this is not inclusive. Anyways, yeah, so if I put 0 here, we're going to miss that last one, right? So I need to put -1 here, and then we're going to increment by -1 each time. So basically, we're just iterating through our data set in reverse order here. Okay, so that's all this is doing. That's all you need to know that it's doing. It's looping or iterating through the data set in a reverse order. All right. So if not math.isNaN data by at position I lock, I'm just going to tab over and get rid of all of this here and this here for now. Well, I keep the print statement for now. All right. So if not math.isNaN, which means check for the most recent buy signal. That's all we're doing here. We're just checking for the most recent buy signal. So if it's not NAND, then we found the buy signal. Okay. And if that's the case, then we're going to print, let's see, we're going to print last signal is a buy at, and then I put $, left curly bracket, right curly bracket, and then I'm going to put data buy dot I lock at position I, and then colon dot 2F. So I only want 2 places behind the decimal place here. Okay, and does Google have any suggestions for me here? I guess not. So that looks good. All right, let's press enter. Maybe Google has another suggestion for us here. No? All right. So now I'm gonna put an else if statement. Else if not math dot is nan data cell dot ilock. Okay, cell. Let's see, Google will continue this for us. And it didn't. All right. So we're gonna put ilock at position I, and then we're gonna print. I'm just gonna come here. I'm just gonna, okay, that looks good. I'm just gonna tab over. So print last signal cell. All right, let's go ahead and run this. And there we go. Last signal is sell at $435.15. And to make this a little bit cooler, we're gonna put backslash U 0, 0, 0, and then 1. And then we're going to put in F7E2. So this should make a green circle. I'm going to highlight that, copy Control C, come down here and do Control V and change just the last 3 digits here. It's going to be, let's see, I think 535 is blue. So 534 is red. So let's go ahead and run this. And there we go. We get a little circle that says last signal sell at $435.15. So thank you so much for joining me in this deep dive into Python and trading strategies. I hope you found this video very helpful and inspiring. If you'd like to experiment further with this code or try it in or on a different data set, then be sure to visit my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/computerscience, where I share all of my resources here. I show you or I show the data sets and the code that I've used in previous videos. So you can get all those there. And remember to like, subscribe, and drop a comment if you have any questions or ideas for future videos. I'd love to hear from you. Wishing you all the best in your coding and trading adventures. Have an amazing day, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.